Sassy Gals, and welcome to day 7 of Vlogmas. Yes, I know, yesterday was a little late. About 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, my internet went out and did not come back up until 6 o'clock this morning on the 7th. So, yes, I was a little late putting up day 6, but I did put it up. So, go check that out, day 6. Alright, today for you, I am going to do one of the many long-awaited story times. And this one is going to be a real-life story time today. Hence why I'm not in such a Christmassy outfit today, but I still have my Christmassy background. So I'm going to tell you about when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. If you don't know what that is, I will put the name of it down in the description, and you're more than welcome to go and look it up. A brief kind of description of what it is, and you can look up more details on it if you wish. It is an autoimmune disease that affects my nervous system. What happens is my immune system turns on my body and begins to eat the myelin around my nerves, therefore affecting several different parts of my body. I have lesions that form on my brain as well as down my spinal cord, which affects a very wide variety of things that happen in my body. So, I was diagnosed with this officially in 2005. I started showing signs of this as early as the beginning of high school. I want to say my freshman year in high school I started showing signs. I got really bad sick in my freshman year of high school, and I had a day where I came home sick. My dad came and got me, and I laid down in the bed because I was like, oh, it's probably just a head cold, I'll be okay. When he came in to check on me later on that day, I could not speak. I couldn't say anything. I could form the thoughts, and I knew what I was thinking, and I wanted to say it, but my voice just would not come out. I could write it, I still had all of my motor functions, but there was no speaking, and I did not speak for 16 hours. They put me in the hospital for a couple of days, and everything was fine. I went home. I actually started speaking, or was able to start speaking, when they were putting me in the hospital and putting the hospital bracelet on me. I was actually able to speak. It was stuttered and slurred to begin with, but that went away very quickly. It was almost as if my whole world came back. Well, I was in the hospital for a couple of days, and they threw around oh, well, you might have lupus. Oh, you might have MS. You might have, and MS is short for multiple sclerosis. Or you might have this nerve disease. Or you might have Behçet's. Or, some neurological problem. They couldn't find anything. Well, let's fast forward a couple of years. I didn't have any major problems, normal sickness, stomach flu. Stomach flu always seemed to get me. I hated stomach flus. Oh man, those are bad. And I was okay. I was standing in choir class one day, and I think this was my sophomore year, maybe my junior year. But I was standing in choir class, and I raised my hand, and we were standing and we were singing, because my choir teacher always made us stand and sing, because your better sound comes out when you stand and sing. I absolutely loved singing. I loved school at that time. Didn't have any problems. I mean, I had my normal bullies, people that picked on me, but I could give two craps about that. I dealt with it and went on. I loved school. I loved learning. And choir class was my favorite class of all of them. And I stood up to start singing, and I immediately sat back down. And the teacher was like, "Are you okay? What's going on? What's up?" And I told him, I said, "I feel dizzy. I feel lightheaded. I feel like I'm going to pass out." Well, a couple of days later in gym's class, and I really think it was not the way that people described it, but I think it was different. Um, I passed out at the top of the stairs and fell to the bottom of the stairs. My body just gave way. And now at the time, I thought this girl that was feeding with me, that did not like me for no reason. There was no reason for her to not like me. I mean, I didn't really talk to many people in high school. I was kind of the outcast, and I didn't mind being the outcast in high school. But I didn't talk to her. I didn't associate with her. I didn't cause her any problems. I didn't talk about her. I didn't, and she swears up and down I talked about her behind her back and all this. Anyway, blah blah blah. High school problems. I thought she tripped me because she was the last person that I saw. But my friends tell me, and the PE teacher told me, you passed out at the top of the stairs. You went blank and just fell. So that was the second incident. Well then, I've had I can't speak for 16 hours, things like that. Well, we carry on. I graduate from high school. I graduate in the top 10% of my class, graduate with honors. I graduated with a 4.125 grade point average, which I think is, pretty decent. Actually, it's above average for most. So, I did pretty good in graduating. And I had a job. I was working at Dollar General at the time. And I loved it. I went to school. It was a mile from my school. So I literally it may have been even less than a mile from my school. So I walked every day after school and went to work. And I was saving up for a car, saving up to move out of my parents' house. Everything was fine and dandy. Well, I say fine and dandy. I was having a lot of issues behind the scenes that I didn't tell my parents about. That I passed off as, normal jitters, getting through my senior year and all of that. And most of the time it would go away within a day. So I didn't really pay much attention to it until one morning I got up to get ready to go to work. And I didn't drive myself at that point. I was saving up to get a car. So my dad had to take me to work most mornings because my mom was usually already at work. So my dad had to take me to work before he went to work most mornings. And I got up that morning and I had this thing where my legs felt like they had been asleep all night and they were coming back from being asleep. You know that tingly feeling you get when your foot or your hand falls asleep and then it's waking back up, like basically the nerves refiring. And I had that all up and down my legs and it was really painful. And I had taken a couple, and I say a couple, I had taken 4 Tylenol. And I asked my dad for one of his pain pills because I knew he had some prescribed pain pills. Little did I know the pain pill that he gave me was a barbiturate, and I did not need to take it with the Tylenol. I honestly was just trying to get better to where I could go to work because I was going to be on my feet for 8 hours at work. I just wanted to go to work. I just wanted to start my day and be okay. And I took the pain pill. I can't remember what the name of it was, but later found out that it was a barbiturate because it was found in my system. I was in the back of my dad's car on the way to work. I was dressed for work and everything, and my dad said I started gasping for air and I passed out in the back of his car. He then took me to the emergency room. They got me in. My breathing was very shallow at that time. I did wake up and I did get out of the car myself, but I don't remember a lot of the details of what happened. I do remember being at my dad freaking out, trying to wake me up, them trying to wake me up, me waking up, getting out of the car and going into the emergency room, and then being admitted into the hospital. That was one of the major incidences I had. And of course, again, they're telling me this could be MS, this could be lupus, this could be Behçet's, this could be any number of neurological disorders. And I'm trying to process this at my young age, and trying to deal with this and go on. And I started college, and I was ready to get on with my life, and I bought a car, and I was saving up again to, I was saving up to move out and be in my own apartment. And I remember distinctly the first major problem I had with my MS. Episodes with MS are called exacerbations. And my first major exacerbation, I couldn't walk for over a month. I lost all feeling from the waist down. So from about the belly button down, I had no feeling in my feet or my legs. I had no control of anything in my lower region, waist area. Nothing. And I remember the day that it happened, it progressively got worse. My mom took me to the hospital because she knew something was going on. I'm the type of person that I don't go to the doctor or the hospital just for any little thing. I don't rush to the hospital or the doctor for any little thing. So my mom had to beg me to go to the doctor, and at that point, when I could not stand up out of my bed, I was like, okay, let's go. Well, my mom has a nice big garden tub in her bathroom, and I was like, okay, I need to get a bath, I stink. So my mom put me in there, and it was all okay until I had to get out. Because the way her garden tub is set up, you don't actually have to get down in the tub to get a bath. You can sit up on the back where there's a built-in seat, and that's where I was sitting. I was sitting there, took a bath. Well, I went to get out, and I slipped down into the bottom of the tub. Well, this was a problem, because at that point, I could not actually stand up. So I wound up rolling myself out of the bathtub onto a sheet, and my sister and her boyfriend, now keep in mind, I am butt naked during all of this. My sister, her boyfriend at the time, and her boyfriend's mom are all standing in my mom's bathroom, trying to get me out of this bathtub, and I'm butt naked. At this point, my dignity has gone out the window. I do not give a crap anymore. I am scared to death. I'm afraid I'm not going to be ever able to walk again. I'm going to be stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I'm so young, and I'm scared. So I could give two craps. There are total strangers in my house seeing me naked. I don't care. So I roll out of the bathtub. They get me on a sheet, and they literally drag me out of my mom's bathroom, down my living room, into my bedroom where I could pull up and push up and get on the bed. I got dressed. I went to the hospital. The first stint in the hospital was I was in the hospital itself for 5 days. They could not find, and they did the worst thing that they could do to me. They put me on bed rest. The longer I was on bed rest, the worse my legs got. The less I could walk. They would get me up every day to kind of walk me and move me and make sure, I didn't get sores and stuff like that. And it got progressively worse. It got to the point by the time they sent me to rehab. Now keep in mind, this is physical rehab, not rehab for drugs. Physical rehab. By the time they sent me from the hospital to physical rehab, because in the hospital, you're there to be treated for sickness. This was a sickness, this is a sickness that's not going away. It's never going away. Okay, I am stuck with this for the rest of my life. So the hospital couldn't do anything else for me. So they sent me to a place called Health South, which is a rehabilitation hospital. It's basically where they take care of you being sick, but they also rehabilitate you, get you up walking, get you moving, motor functions, anything that they need to help you fix, whether it be speech, using your hands and arms, legs, all of that. I went over and I was in that hospital for 40 days. I could not walk. I could not move. I could not even sit up on the edge of the bed. Now, by the end of it, I was able to get up and walk out. I told them my goal going in was to walk out of that building and get in my parents' car and go home. And I did, but it took 40 days to do that. It was agonizing. Every thought that you could think of ran through my mind. And I hated it. And it scared me. It really did. I was afraid, you know. There were nights where I called my mom and talked to her for hours, going, Mama, what am I going to do? What am I going to do if I can't walk? What am I going to do if I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my life? What am I going to do? I had just at that point started working in a photography studio, and it was really sad because my boss lady came to see me while I was in rehab, and she had to tell me they had to let me go because I was gone for so long. And I loved my job there. I absolutely loved it. And I was good at it. But I had to let it go. And while I was in rehab for those 40 days, I started applying for disability. And at that point, I had been to Birmingham and all of that to get a second opinion about my diagnosis. And yes, they officially diagnosed me with MS and officially deemed me 100% disabled, to where I could not walk, I could not work anymore, I could not drive. So to this day, I still have yet to get my driver's license. I still have yet to drive my own car. I had my own car. I had bought a car. But I still have yet to drive. I cannot live on my own. I cannot work. And, yeah. So all the things that I thought coming out of high school that I was going to do didn't happen. And that was in 2005. And here it is, 2017. And yep, I still have MS. And I will have other story times on my MS. Hey, if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, feel free. Don't be shy. And if I get enough questions, I might even do a Q&A video. Alright, I will catch you on the flip side. Stay sassy, because that's what we do around here.